You're listening to Power Plug Radio, home of your throwback jams.
And good morning. Happy people of St. Petersburg, surrounding area, Tampa Bay, Florida, United States. I'm Mhariel Summers. Welcome to the Summers for St. Pete podcast. I am your humble and gracious candidate for St. Pete City Council District 6. Each week, I'm here with my buddy, my captain, Jacob Terrell. And today, we are joined by our field director, Mr. Byron Ball. So, yes, welcome.
Great stuff.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
Great. Yeah, another beautiful day today.
Yes.
Another great Friday, like you said, letting our hair hang down and talking politics.
Let the hair hang.
The day is beautiful, yeah. I'm doing great.
Yeah. Yeah. I like how after we have terrible weather, you know, like Elsa came through this week and we were nervous a little bit for just a split second. I feel like we never get the big hit.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, St. Pete is like one of those weird, lucky areas that storm seems to like kind of form over us.
Yeah.
But they just kind of pass right over.
They pass over. Have either of you guys heard the rumor that like it's an ancient Indian burial ground that prevents
I could see it.
hurricanes from
I could totally
directly
see
hitting it?
There is something miraculous about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, over there at, what's that? Jungle Prada.
Yeah.
They actually literally do have ancient Indian burial.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But, yeah, thanks for keeping us safe.
Yeah, exactly. To the ancestors,
I
right?
love that.
But no, so
That's
Elsa
good.
came through, didn't do too much damage.
Yeah, luckily.
Luckily for us, but we are left with this beautiful weather.
Yeah.
So hopefully you folks get a chance to get out of your offices and you know you're inside the house today. Get out, get some of this good vitamin D.
And we had two storms roll through because we had Elsa roll through. And then the very next day, we had the Tampa Bay Lightning roll through and win it. Talk about
I
a
wasn't
storm.
prepared. I wasn't ready.
Right?
I wasn't ready. Congrats to the Lightning.
Yeah,
congrats. Back to back, man.
Yeah.
Back to back.
Yeah, so it's wild. Tuesday, oh my gosh, everyone's freaking out, storm. And then the very next night, like in the same town, you have a championship game winning the Stanley Cup.
The Lightning at that.
Yeah.
The Lightning at that, yeah.
It's just wild how just weird Florida is. It's crazy storm one night, winning a championship the next party.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. So welcome to Florida. What a great time to be a Floridian. What a great time to be from the Tampa Bay area. I feel all of the energy and I let it power our campaign. So here we are, another week.
Speaking of the campaign.
Another week at it. And we have just continued to move. I'm inspired week by week. Some days I don't know if we're getting anywhere. Other days the load just feels so heavy. But at the end of the week on Friday, when we kind of sit back and look at how many people we've talked to, how much money we've been able to raise, what type of events, and the professional structure that we're putting together here.
Oh yeah.
I'm good.
Oh yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah, we got things ordered. You know, things are on shipment. We got signs and literature and all sorts of stuff coming in.
Let me take this moment to say thank you from like the depths of my heart for everybody, to everybody who has donated to our campaign thus far.
Yeah.
You guys just don't understand how instrumental. Can we clap it up real quick for the donors?
All stars.
Please. Because
all stars.
You know, you guys really don't understand what it does to a grassroots campaign like ours, where, you know, it's just me and these other brilliant minds trying to do something that not many people would, you know, have the confidence or feel like they could really do. But we believe we can win this race. We're in it to win it. So visit summersforstpete.com. Keep those donations coming through. We have Byron on. So Byron, we have you here. Can you tell? They know us. Yeah. Can you tell us about who Byron is and what Field is all about?
And actually, real quick, before we hop into that, can we touch on the event that we do have kicking off?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna segue into it because
gotcha. You got your own thing, girl.
No, I was just thinking about it. I didn't share that with you. I'm sorry, but we do have something coming up Tuesday, and it's in your domain. So that's why I just kind of wanted to start, like, you know, tell the folks, you know, who you are and what Field's all about.
Yeah. So thank you. My name is Byron Baugh. I am your field director. I've been in the field game for a long time. I've worked on 4 campaigns now. I really have always enjoyed the work. What it is it's about rallying like-minded and inspired volunteers to touch as many of the normal citizens as you possibly can.
Voters.
Exactly.
Voters.
Yes.
And so this includes knocking on their doors.
Yeah.
This includes making phone calls to them, sending text messages to them. And I know it can get pesky during election season because everybody...
Oh, you're inundated.
If you're a voter, everyone's trying to get in touch with you to
especially if you're a registered independent. Good Lord.
Good.
You're getting phone calls from the left and the right.
Exactly. And so we need folks like the volunteers you're talking about.
Absolutely.
We need those people.
Yeah, 100%. It's perhaps the most intensive, at least when it comes to man hours wise, part of the campaign is getting people in front of voters.
Yeah.
Getting them where they're at, like their homes or over the phone.
Yeah.
But it makes a ton of impact.
It's really huge.
Yeah, it's important because you don't get that chance a lot of the time. A lot of people have busy lives,
right?
Yeah.
And it's it's important to at least touch these people, where they're at, we can let them know what we're all about,
what we're all about, and that's
why we can make a difference.
So it really comes down to we can't. In my mind, the reason I called you early on when I decided to do this, and mind you, like we talked about early on, even Jacob, Ashley Doss, Byron Ball, and Ben Kirby, that's who I started this with. And each of those individuals in my mind, when we started this, it was about, I know that you've been out here doing the work. This is an opportunity for me to try and get out and do something special. And I think you have the talents and the ability to man that type of operation. And Byron's done great so far.
He's killed it.
With the organization aspect, building the right structure. So we got the voter access network, right? Do we have any particular like turfs and things already cut?
Oh yeah. Yeah. We have our universes and lists coming from that. Universes are like an entire group of likely voters.
Yeah.
And we break that down into people who we want to call and knock on doors.
Yeah. So it's not just random. If you're getting a call, if you're getting a text or somebody showing up at your door, some computer algorithm has determined that you are a viable voter.
Exactly.
That you are an important voter. So every time your phone rings, and it's from Summers for St. Pete, please look at it as an honor.
Right.
Feel like you're being complimented. You're like an important person in this, civic engagement.
Exactly. Because that's one of those things people don't think about in terms of being on the receiving end of like all these quote unquote pesky phone calls and like all the literature drops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The reason that it's all coming to people like yourself is like what Byron just said. It's like, feel proud, like you're an important part of the conversation and people are vying for your vote, because not only is it that your vote matters, but it's like you're also probably one of the people that are more likely to vote. Clearly. Because if you're not one of those types of people that gets a lot of that stuff,
you don't show up on the list. And
exactly.
So that's a big problem that I had always had with the data. We kind of talked about it with Hofstadter and things like that, is because I think a lot of voters can get lost in those margins if you only stick to that tactic.
Exactly.
Or if you only stick to that, analyzation, this person hasn't voted. And so there are a lot of drivers. A lot of things in effect that motivate a voter. And what I like about our team is, we are diverse in our approach. We're looking at it from data. We're definitely taking the traditional campaign route in terms of our field program, but we are also, keeping in mind that those people who maybe haven't been to the polls in the last couple of years, maybe haven't been inspired, maybe haven't felt like they had a reason or a person to vote for. So we're leaving no, what do they say? No
stone unturned.
No stone unturned. So when do we start all this, Byron?
So the big kickoff is this Tuesday. It's super exciting.
It is.
This is when I'm going to hope to have like the most interaction with potential voters, signing them up for shifts to help field out and get in contact with, you, the everyday voter.
Yes.
And that on Tuesday is going to be at the Craft Cafe.
Craft Cafe.
Yeah,
Central
downtown.
and Second downtown.
200 Central Avenue, downtown St. Petersburg,
Is
on
that
the corner.
cute little...
If you guys know where Detroit Liquors, there's the sign there.
Yeah.
If you guys know where Detroit Liquors used to be, it's literally right across the street, and where Caddy's downtown used to be, it's literally right across from from those locations.
Yeah.
So please join us. If not,
from 6 to 7.
Yeah.
If not for any reason, to enjoy some of the fine, delicious pastries and drinks.
I was about to say the refreshments, the ambiance of downtown St. Pete.
Yes, Craft Cafe has some great things. So that's our event that's coming up this Tuesday. And yeah, Byron will be there. I'll be there. Jacob will be there.
Yep.
And we'll be there to not only share our vision, not only thank you for supporting us, but to talk about what our plans are this summer. Because we're gonna work in our district.
Oh yeah,
we're gonna work in our district
first and foremost.
We're gonna work in our district while everyone else is in their district trying to make it out of the primary. We're gonna make sure the people in District 6 know we're here.
Yeah.
Know that we care and we have a plan for their future and try and buy their vote. And so we'll be out here. And if you'd like to join us, come Tuesday. And have
a good time.
I think we're gonna maybe have some yard signs by then, and
so it'll be a little bit of lit,
a little bit lit.
a little bit of everything. So yeah.
So that's the campaign. Campaign's going great. Folks ask, campaign's going great. We were gonna take a break at 11:30, but I do want to at least get into one of our hot topics we were talking about early.
Yeah.
So Jacob, you were talking about the fact that.
Yeah, more recently, obviously, I'm sure you've been hearing, obviously, Afghanistan and the Afghanistan war has been getting a lot of talk as of recently because it's official. We are leaving. We have a set exit date, the end of August. I believe August 31st will be the last, the last troops. But it's just wild to me because, the reason I wanted to bring it up is just the fact that it shaped so many people of our age's lives and generations, I mean, go back to 2001.
What 9/11. What grade were you in?
I was in 8th grade.
So anytime anyone talks 9/11, I gotta hear the stories. What grade were you in and where were you at?
Right, exactly.
When you heard this was happening?
8th grade. It was a normal day at school. And I was in PE that first class of the day, and I remember middle of the that class, the coach brought us all into the locker room. Girls go to your locker room, boys go to your locker room. He sits us down talking because we didn't know what was going on at first, and he was just like, World Trade Center's on fire.
Wow. And
we're watching the video, and then that's when I think I was going into the second period. My next class is when the second one hit.
Wow.
And that's when obviously everything was like, oh my goodness. Kids started getting pulled out of school left and right.
Right. Parents started coming picking up. Yeah.
No one had any idea what was going on. Right. I mean, unfortunately,
and you were still up in Illinois at this time, or
no? I was actually down here.
Okay,
in Orlando.
You were in Orlando. Okay.
Yeah. But my mom was a school teacher at the time, so she couldn't leave. So I was unfortunately one of the last kids left in school. There was not many of us by the end of the day.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a handful.
Same.
Literally a handful. But anyway, it's just one of those things that watching the 9/11, watching the terrorist aspect, and then going to high school in that time period, I have friends. That
join that war
very much so, or Afghanistan,
likewise.
Iraq,
and before we get to the sacrifices that those good folks make, I just want to, because I know I was in the 5th grade. I was in the 5th grade, and I've always been an opinionated person when it came to politics, but like a 5th grader, you don't really know anything.
Exactly.
So I'm all hysterical, and I'm like, they're gonna drop a nuclear bomb next. That's what's next. Right. The president said it. The president said it. Watching too much news as a child, so I'm very worried and freaking out. But again, my parents weren't in a position to leave their work so we and I was going to Azalea Elementary at Walter Fuller. So I was on the north side of St. Pete, and again, it was just
surreal.
This surreal feeling, this eerie feeling. What about you, Byron? Where were you? What?
I was in 5th grade as well, actually.
Yeah.
I was at a place called Sundry Elementary over on the east coast of Florida in Melbourne.
Okay.
It was just, I mean, it's just the same, right? Like not understanding why by like my third class, like nearly everybody was gone.
Right. Teachers are crying.
Yeah.
Well, I guess mine were all like kind of chill.
Okay.
Like, but she did turn on the TV.
Right.
To keep the kids calm.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, not inwardly. I'm positive, but like, I don't know. She did have the TV on at a moment, and then I think she was better. My parents weren't home when I got home.
Yeah.
I think I biked home.
Yeah. Wow.
And then turn on the TV, saw what was happening, and granted I didn't understand, and looking back, it's so fascinating. Like,
we grew
would
up.
it happen like the same way? Would people react the same way if?
I think things are so much more polarizing now. Like things are so much more polarizing now. And what I do remember is that was a time and that tragedy brought our nation together like never before.
Yeah.
If Trump would have ran then, we'd be a dictatorship right now.
Right.
We'd be a totalitarian if Trump would have been in George Bush's position. Yeah. Because everybody was ready to put an American flag on the back of their truck, on the, their property and so forth. And it really brought us together. But again, back to your point, we're in our 30s now. This is 20 years later. Yeah. This is 20 years later. We have seen so many lives lost, lives sacrificed. We've seen the increase of the mental health of our soldiers, deteriorating. Some of the things that they see, some of the things that they have to do to defend our nation in these places. It was time for some diplomacy. Oh yeah, it was 100%. Time to stop the fighting. It's time to stop the killing.
Well, because that's one of those things. It's like in a messy country like Afghanistan. It's there is no. We know who the quote unquote enemy is, and it's insurgents. It's people like the Taliban. Yeah, and these are also the ones that are starting to take back over. The same ones that we went in trying to fight back in 2001.
But see, what I've learned, especially over the course of studying to get the degree, is so much more complicated than just like the umbrella Taliban or the umbrella names, ISIS and ISIL. These are they're fractured insurrections that have their own. It's not just one Ayatollahs, Khomeinis.
Exactly. Like it's not one centralized force. No. But again, at the end of the day, all Afghan people have the same sentiment, I feel like, and not in that we support the Taliban. No, it's that we want you gone.
Well, I think it depends because, if you look at, especially just before the Gulf War, right, there was, these are newer democracies at this time. They're brand new democracies. They're just trying to get their footing. And you have a love for the Western way of life, the Western, the capitalism, the democracy, the freedom of choice, the freedom to write, the freedom to do whatever, and a lot of that conflicted with the traditional way. And then you look at the way that these, we talked about it a little bit, war and development, the breaking up of the Ottoman Empire. Exactly. Right. And the fractured nature where a lot of these cultures that existed in harmony for hundreds of years were then, split by country, nation borders. Yeah. And so in the age of the nation state, man, it's
complicated.
It's a messy.
It is. There is no perfect answer to it. It's just the reason that again, I even wanted to talk about it is the fact that it's 20 years. We
either way, we should be getting out.
Exactly.
We should have been out. As a matter of fact,
we kind of discussed it before the program. The fact that we don't know that there is a person out there, but statistically speaking, there could be somebody that was born after the Afghanistan war started,
2002, 2003,
exactly, and graduated high school, joined the service, and then got shipped over to Afghanistan.
They were born into a war.
Born into the war, and then now is serving in the war. So, again, not saying that has happened, right? But, like, the fact that there is a small possibility. Yeah.
And, look, for the most advanced nation in the world, for the most powerful nation in the world, and the most, I look at America as the world superpower because of everything that we dominate in conjunction. There might be some nations that, but the Americas are the superpower. And so there's
so much loss though.
But that's what I'm saying. There's no reason for the most powerful nation in the world to be caught up in a 20-year war.
Yeah. And again, like we're talking multi-trillions of dollars. Multiple trillions.
Millions of lives.
So many
millions
lives.
Millions of lives. So I like it. I like this move. I like the diplomacy.
Exactly.
And I support it. So
I'll end on what Biden, it's been in the news recently, and Biden said it best. He's like, I refuse to send another generation of kids to Afghanistan. To potentially die, suffer, PTSD, whatever it may be. Even if it is just quote unquote injury. I had 2 buddies that got injured over there, a couple Purple Hearts and stuff, they take off their shirt, they're peppered with shrapnel and stuff. And it's just one of those man, it's just wild to think about.
It's hard. It's hard. And I agree with you. We got to protect our troops. I think we could, especially as a nation. I mean, that's the largest part of our U.S. national budget. Those men and women can be put to such more productive and safe use in defending our country and defending our democracy. There's a lot that we can do besides putting them in harm's way and on the fields of combat. That's our patriotic position on the first half of the show. But you are watching the Summers for St. Pete podcast. We always take a quick break midway through. I want to run the audio. We released our first ad was it last Friday? Yeah. Last Friday, so about a week ago. And it is just gotten very great reception everywhere we went. So we're going to play some of that audio. We're going to take a quick break here. And when we come back, we're going to talk about some more things that are politically relevant to you good listeners. So join us, Summers for St. Pete podcast, and we'll be right back after this brief break.
St. Pete's a special place. This is a city where, if you look closely, opportunity is radiating in every neighborhood. I look at my neighbors and their different aspirations, and the needs are still too great for far too many. To me, better attention and presence could take us so much farther, faster. And I think that's what being a public servant is all about. Seeing everyone's value and serving to move us forward together. And who better to serve than my community, my friends, my church members, and my family? The future is so bright, and the future is now. I'm Mhariel Summers, and I'm asking you to vote for me for St. Petersburg City Council, District 6.
Yeah, something that can make you do wrong, make you do right. Yeah. Love. Love and happiness. But wait a minute, something's going wrong. Someone's on the phone, 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, talking about how she can make it right. Yeah, happiness is when you really feel good about somebody. There's nothing wrong being in love with someone. Yeah. Oh, baby, love and happiness. Love and happiness. Oh. together, yeah, to see each other walk away with victory, yeah. Oh baby, love and happiness, oh yeah, love and happiness. Stay out all night long. Oh, love. Wait a minute. Let me take power, love. Hey, hey, hey. Power.
You're listening to Power Plug Radio, home of your throwback jams.
Welcome. All right, there we go. There we go. And we're back. Welcome back. Summers for St. Pete podcast. Mhariel Summers, candidate for District 6 City Council. Jacob Terrell. Hello.
How's it doing?
Byron Ball. Hello. So we got the team in the building this morning. Spent the first half kind of talking about campaign and the seriousness of like 9/11. And we're here to let our hair down, right?
Right.
That's what we're doing.
Fun stuff.
Let's get to some fun stuff. So first of all, I want to send a huge congratulations to Miss Zelia Avant-Garde from New Orleans. Clap it up.
Right.
Clap it up for her. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes. If you don't know, Miss Zelia became the first African-American to win the National Spelling Bee.
Which was wild.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it yet, go watch even just that last word that she won on. I'm getting chills and my hairs are standing up just thinking about it because that word was insane.
It's crazy.
Watching those kids go, man.
Yeah. And I'll be the first to admit to y'all, like, spelling, the older I get, I'm like, the computer's got it.
Yeah.
It's never
Computer's got it. Yeah. As long as it's close.
I'll get that red squiggly line. They'll fix it for me. Right. I just need to get this point out, you know? But there's an art.
True.
It's how it is,
true.
bro. It's how it is. And so I'm sorry to all you spelling enthusiasts. But after those spelling tests in elementary school, I
kind of tapped out, huh?
Yeah, I focused more on what we were talking about versus how to spell it. But no, it was awesome to see this young girl with braces who's also a good basketball player. Yeah. Highly recruited basketball player, and who just spells like a boss on the side.
Again, watching that unreal. I couldn't even pronounce half the words they were spelling. I'm just like, excuse me, hold on one more time.
Yeah, exactly.
What was that?
Exactly.
9 syllables. Like, good Lord.
Yeah, what does this mean? Can you use it in a sentence? I would have been asking all of the what's that show, guys? Regis used to host it. Who Wants to Be a
Millionaire?
Millionaire, was it?
Can I phone a friend?
Yeah. I would have been using all of my all the
lifelines.
Exactly. Shout out to Regis. But anyways, Zalia did that. She did that. She won the spelling bee. And then we were kind of talking about just young black talent, and that led us to Olympics. And there's a lot of young black talent. I should have got these guys' names. there are 2 folks from the Tampa Bay area headed to Tokyo.
Yes.
Track runner.
I read about the one gentleman who's like 19 years old from Tampa.
From Tampa.
Yeah.
One of the youngest to actually qualify for the Olympics since like 1960 or 7 or
it was a while. It's been
look it up,
generations.
Just don't take my word for it, because as you see, I was unprepared to uplift those gentlemen this morning. But there's so much authentic, raw talent. And one of the ones we were most excited about a few weeks ago, I've been talking about is Sha'Carri Richardson. Just the fact that she so much walked in the image of FloJo.
Oh yeah.
You know, Florence Joyner, the great with the nails and the hair and the culture. I just loved it. But what happened, guys?
Oh man, she got popped.
She got
yeah.
She got popped, man.
It happened quick too.
And it happened too quick for my liking.
Because it was literally 1 week I'm reading, oh shoot, Sha'Carri Richardson,
yes,
like, #1 runner, like she's the next big thing. Literally within a week.
Next big thing.
Yeah, and within a week it was a different stuff. But there's this old saying in the Black community that says, you got too big for your britches. Right? Have y'all ever heard that?
Yeah.
You got too big for your britches. And I think Sha'Carri was just too flamboyantly, arrogantly, and confidently Black, like out loud, with like no,
I agree. And what is disappointing is that it seemed like people were making that take when all I was feeling was how heartfelt that was when she ran up and saw her grandma first thing.
Right.
I was all on board. It was such a meaningful win.
Yeah.
And powerful in a lot of ways. I'm disappointed that it ended up this way.
Yeah, like I was immediately, like here they go. That's like, whenever I see a Black person of status kind of cut down in their prime,
right,
I'm like, here it goes.
Right.
Here's the tricks, because there's something intimidating about Black confidence, I think, in the grand scheme of the world's palette, in especially in Western civilization. It's something uncomfortable about it. And so, unless you're perfect, unless you are without spot or wrinkle, you are susceptible to the criticisms, the sometimes ill-placed or non-legitimate. Oh, we got a caller, and this is awesome. And you're also susceptible to the random drug tests. But we're gonna talk about weed on the second half. But let's take the caller.
Hi, my name is Philip Haywood, and I am one of the show hosts for the Man Cave Show. Hey. And I tuned in late, but I have a question for you. What are your plans for District 6 if you become the winner? What are your plans? I mean, the district before, I'm pretty sure you know the history of the district, where it was chopped up a little bit because the district was mostly African-American, but it had spread into downtown. Right. So also, how do you plan to gain voters' confidence from a different area of town, even though most of the district is African-American?
Heard. Mr. Haywood, those are fantastic questions for me on this Friday
morning.
Right
into it.
He is. So, first of all, you bring up very great points about the district's history.
Yeah.
I have so much respect for the history of District 6, understanding the fact that C-Bet Wimbish, the first Black person to ever sit on city council here in our city of St. Petersburg, she was a woman, but she represented our city from District 6. I hate how gerrymandering and redrawing of the districts throughout the years kind of take things that were put in place. Like District 6 was added to provide that diversity to our council, to allow the Black residents to have adequate representation. And so, as things are cut, the district now is 58% white, 34% Black, and the rest is other. Your second question of the voters' confidence is extremely relevant. My approach to gaining the voters' confidence is this understanding that, equity is a win for us all, that growth is a part of evolution, and that I'm not here to stop growth. As in fact, one of my main platforms is to keep our city growing. That, I've gotten an education in political science and a minor in entrepreneurship to understand the importance of the economy, but more importantly, how to balance human needs and, human rights, as we look to make money, and survive. And so I think those voters, the responses that I've been getting have been very warm, very welcoming, because they see a true path for equity, where this isn't a zero-sum game, right? Where the downtown community, the white community, does not have to lose for the black community to achieve equity in this city.
Right.
It just doesn't have to happen, especially with the right applications of our investment, the way we're investing our city dollars, and the plans that we're building towards the future. So that's my plan. I'm a moderate by history, I guess. That's my identity. I don't like to play the identity politics or lean too heavy in any direction. I want to talk about what's practical. I want to talk about, what's going to be economically sound and sustainable. But we want to talk about what's resilient for all of our citizens. And, so I hope that answers your question, Mr. Haywood. The last thing I will say is, the voters' confidence. Folks have to realize that low commerce, low income markets cost this city and this county more money than if we would just invest in these entrepreneurs, and if we would invest in these communities that are historically excluded and historically underserved. It's a win-win for all. That's the way I'm going to win the confidence. That's the way I'm going to win this race.
Yeah.
That was great. And I want to touch on the Sha'Carri Richardson situation. And I want to bring up a prime example of when I was 21 years old, but now I pretty much understand it. I was really young, and I entered the military, and I got caught smoking hash. Mm-hmm. I knew that it was illegal.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right.
I paid the consequences one time. I did it again. Yeah. I had to pay the consequences again by getting discharged with a general under honorable conditions discharge.
Yeah. Yeah.
After I got out, I heavily got involved in the drugs, but now I've been sober for 30 years.
Yes.
The point I'm trying to make is we make mistakes, but what we need to learn is that we've got to learn from those mistakes. And once you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
Sometimes we as humans, we do things without thinking about the consequences and repercussions of our actions.
Right.
And those are the types of things that we need to teach our young people before you go out there and steal a car or do wrong or kill somebody.
Yes.
Think about the consequences that you're going to suffer behind that itself. Is it worth it?
Right. Mr. Haywood, thank you for calling in. Your comments are poignant. Please, feel free to call and add to our conversation anytime.
No.
Definitely. So I agree with what Mr. Haywood was saying in terms of accountability, right? In my opinion, it's an intrinsic conversation that needs to happen amongst the black community. No disrespect.
That's right.
No disrespect to you guys here, right? But when it's so delicate when you talk about the racial history of the United States and the paternal nature of white society. When we talk about accountability, this is why I think it needs to be an internal conversation in the black community, where we can really reestablish, our community structure, and the things that kept us successful for so long when we were segregated. But the other part of that, and why I'm so motivated to work in the public service, is we got to be fair. You know what I mean? We have to be fair. And using marijuana as as an illegal substance, when in many parts of this nation it's completely legal. It's unfair. It's just not fair. And so I hope the Supreme Court really looks at, because one of the reasons they start ruling on things is if they're differing outcomes around the country to keep us all on one accord. And so I think it's time that we legalize marijuana. Yeah. I think it's time, especially, like I said, most powerful nation in the Western world, right? I think it's time that we set the standard and set the stage for this to not be, because Jacob was talking earlier about it. This isn't a performance enhancing drug.
That's what they claim it to be.
It's not a performance enhancing drug. It's not a drug that, you know, scientists can say lead to any particular death.
Benefits.
Don't get me wrong. If you eat too many edibles, like the kid in Colorado, I lived in Colorado for 3 years and saw it when it first became legal. And when you live there, you know, if you eat too many chocolates or something like that, you may have some psychological effects that make you do things that cause your death. But no one's ever overdosed on marijuana. No. You know, what do? Cat Williams says you get hungry, you get happy, and you get sleepy.
Exactly.
These are the effects. Yeah. And so
it's a plant. It grows that way.
It grows that way, you know. So you know, how do I feel about it? You know, it's Friday.
Right.
You ain't got no job. You ain't got nothing to do. You might as well
smoke hay.
Exactly. You know, this needs to be a nation that's a little bit more tolerant, especially as we espouse these principles of democracy and freedom of choice and things of this nature. We can't penalize people for marijuana use in 2021. It doesn't make sense.
Let me just say too, like, I think a lot of these points that you've been making like correlate with each other. This drug's criminalization has a racist history for one. Two, I think that when we have this conversation about legalizing it nationwide, to speak to your point on getting rid of that paternal nature that like the white community has had historically, we need to also demand removing previous sentences, getting rid of the penalties from the past, like due to the racist history of the.
And we have to. That's a part of true equity. You know, that's a part of true equity. And we were talking a little bit earlier about the state of Florida, right, and the red tape in this state. That it not only, you know, as our legislature is still trying to cap the THC percentages we're allowed to grow in our flower and whether it should be smokable or not, you know, it's just, you know, not only tied up in the red hair of Tallahassee, but the price tag, $60,000 just to apply to compete in Florida is going to discourage so many of these people who were previously impacted the worst by this prohibition. So there's work to do on the political side.
Because when you look at it from that outside lens, like now that marijuana in a lot of states are being legalized, it's still very much like, okay, so who's benefiting from this?
Who's benefiting?
It's the rich white communities, and then you look at, you know, the historically downtrodden and the areas that were heavily affected by the war on drugs.
I mean, and they can get licenses now, and maybe they can, you know, have buds on them now without getting put in jail.
Right.
But true equity is allowing, you know, these individuals to become pioneers in that industry. I loved what I seen when I lived in Denver. Products, services, you know, from farms and growers to, you know, folks who are coming in trying to sell little containers. This is a grinder on the bottom and you can store your stuff on the top and one little I mean, the creativity that this type of expansion inspires in the minds of just, man.
I was just out in Vegas right before Memorial Day, and I was at the world's largest dispensary.
Wow.
There were hundreds of employees there. It literally was ran like an Apple store. When I walked in, there were 40 something personal shoppers. There were literally all the scientists. When I say scientists, I mean legitimate PhD guys with white lab coats in the back behind the glass using like centrifuges and like scientific equipment, but it was all for marijuana. So when you're looking at that, things are being ran like an Apple store. And when we're talking about hundreds of people working,
jobs,
so much money, jobs, tax.
Dude, when I was in Denver in 2014, they had to their citizens on our tax returns. Got a little supplement because we collected a surplus of tax dollars.
Exactly.
And so it was a part of the state's tax return. Yeah. And that's what we need here in Florida. In a state, the third largest state in America,
the country.
We need as many economic drivers and as much, as we can to sustain this population and keep everyone living here comfortably. So I think we are out of time this week, maybe running a little over. But, it's a very important topic. And, I'm grateful to Power Plug that we can come on each and every week and kind of talk about whatever our little souls desire.
Right.
But make no mistake about it, folks. The marijuana industry and what that industry could do for our state's economy, for our local economy, and what it could do to reverse some of, like Byron's mentioning, some of those most egregious historic disparities as it relates to arrests and incarceration, mass incarceration from this flower.
People are still going to jail, and there are guys on Wall Street making millions of dollars on the stock market with it now. Forget the whole aspect of like, oh, I own a shop. No, it's publicly traded. We are talking publicly traded. So that's the other thing. Like when you've got white collar guys on Wall Street making millions, and then a guy
who just smoked it or tried to sell an ounce or two.
Exactly.
Doing a 5-year bid, 7-year bid. There's something imbalanced about that. Exactly. So again, hope the Supreme Court can take that up. Byron, you got any final thoughts, man? Thank you for joining us this week and being our special guest.
Thank you for having me. And if I got any final thoughts on the marijuana thing, it's like we do need that change, and without the breaks that like the fake culture war advocates have on the other side, all of that just stops like the potential that you saw in like Colorado, of course, and California, and anything like that. But it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me again.
Yes. We'll see you on Tuesday. We'll see you on Tuesday. You'll see me on Tuesday. Craft Cafe, folks, 200 Central Avenue, July 13th from 6 to 7 p.m. Me and my team are kicking off our campaign, and we are so excited about it.
It's gonna be good. Refreshments. Yeah, we'll have a little bit of everything for you. If you want to volunteer, Byron will be there ready for you.
And if you want to
all that good stuff,
donate. We'll be taking donations on the spot. So this is the Summers for St. Pete podcast. I'm Mhariel Summers. I will be back with you guys next Friday, 11 to 12, and we'll keep talking about politics.
Yep.
Have a good week, y'all.
You're listening to Power Plug Radio, home of your throwback jams.